My name is Patricia Lukoma, taking you through what's making headlines this evening. Let's start off with the top stories. In our top stories tonight, Artisanal Miners demand compensation over alleged. Uganda to host the 8th African Population Conference this November. On the international scene, IMF trims global growth forecast for 2019 to 3%. In sports, Uganda to host Kings Rugby Series. Welcome. Now, Artisanal Miners, and of course this is a discussion in Parliament. Uganda Association of Artisanal Miners and the Federation of Artisanal and Small-Scale Miners are seeking compensation of eviction damages sustained during the unlawful evictions. During an interaction with the Natural Resources Committee of Parliament, Artisanal Miners told the committee that they lost everything during the forceful eviction in 2017.
Last month, miners under the Association of Artisanal and Small-Scale Miners petitioned the Speaker of Parliament, protesting unlawful eviction in favor of one investor, Gamestone. A group of affected artisanal miners from Mubende, while appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Natural Resources, claim injustices during the eviction process.
The army came into the mines and they gave 2 hours to all miners to vacate the place. You could only carry what you could have in your hands. Even if you had money, everyone was running for their lives.
They took our belongings, the army trucks, because they gave us only 2 hours to leave the mines. Sometimes some of us don't want to recall what happened, because it was very painful.
About 25,000 artisanal miners are believed to have been evicted from the 205 square kilometer site by some security forces. They are seeking compensation for damages and want government to compel the investor to surrender at least 1 square mile.
The committee recommends that the investor surrenders at least 1 square kilometer out of 144 that the company holds in our former areas of work.
Exploration license by Gamestone International, at least 5 square kilometers be given to artisanal miners in their current areas of work to reduce conflict between local artisanal miners and the investor whom the government intended to protect.
The current Mining Act, however, does not define artisanal mining, yet artisanal miners constitute 70%. And
we were saying government should expedite the mining policy review process, which government did actually, but now we are looking at the Minerals and Mining Bill.
The government should come up, especially the ministry, should come up immediately and work on the policy to protect the artisanal miners. Otherwise, what we are heading for the disaster. These people are being treated as animals. They don't look at people as human beings.
Some of the problems that we are having now could be because of the law that is in force at the moment. So that's something that we'll be very keen to look at.
However, Parliament is now moving towards amending the Mining Act to cater for artisanal miners. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
Now, Uganda will host the 8th African Population Conference this November. Addressing the media in Kampala, the State Minister for Planning and Economic Development, David Bahati, said that the conference held at every 4 years provides an opportunity for networking and knowledge sharing between researchers and policy makers on key population health and development issues facing the African continent.
In recognition of the prevailing population and development dynamics on the African continent, the forthcoming 2019 Union of African Population Studies Conference, due in Kampala next month, will focus on the theme, Harnessing African Population Dynamics for Sustainable Development, 25 years after Cairo and beyond.
Africa, in general, is a very young population, is a very young continent. About 40% of the population is below 15 years of age, and an additional 30% falls between 15 and 24 years. This demographic profile presents a unique opportunity to achieve massive socio-economic transformation through harnessing demographic dividend.
The State Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, David Bahati, announced that the November conference is an opportunity for Uganda to showcase its population and development best practices.
Life expectancy in Uganda has increased by 20 years in one single generation, from 43 years in 1991 to 63.3 years in 2017. Infant mortality rate per 1,000 reduced from 122 in 1986 to 43 in 2016. Maternal mortality ratio per 100,000 live birth reduced from 506 in 1986 to 336 in 2016.
Uganda has made progress in population and development.
Fertility was 20 years ago was 7.4. It has now come to 5.4. Uganda has reduced fertility by 2 children in 20 years. This is important and it is a good achievement.
The conference will host in one of the youngest nations in the world, with over 70% of Uganda's population under the age of 30 years. The question, however, is how best can the country use its young population into a productive workforce. Bernard Higa, UBC.
Now, State Minister for Higher Education John Chrysostom Muyingo said in next financial year's education budget, it will prioritize rolling out early grade reading in the remaining 113 districts. He was flagging off the implementation of Phase 1 of early grade reading project in Kampala.
The Uganda Teacher and School Effectiveness Project, implemented under Ministry of Education and Sports, is funded by Global Partnership for Education. It supports the early grade reading project, where teachers in 29 districts have trained to help pupils in lower classes learn how to read. 17,000 teachers from 2,727 primary schools have been trained in effective teaching.
We visited the early grade reading beneficiary schools in Norwa, Malacha, Oyam, Kaliro, Iganga, not to mention Mwende, many districts. You see for yourself that the lower primary school teachers there in these districts are a class above. They excel in the delivery of their work. They are very confident, vibrant, and more competent.
The project also provided 13 million copies of English, mathematics and local languages to improve the textbook to pupil ratio from 14 pupils per textbook to a textbook per pupil. Provided 10,054 metallic boxes for storing and enhancing security of textbooks. It has also improved supervision and inspection. The teachers and learning environment has also improved.
Our work around construction has also resulted in increased enrollment by over 10,000 learners in 104 schools, where the figures were readily available. This is an increment of over 25%. You notice that because of the good environment that they are now learning from, our learners are beginning, as I've already stated, they are beginning to love school.
Meanwhile, with support from Stuckey Hearing Foundation, Ministry of Education and Sports has handed over specialized hearing aid equipment to Ministry of Health.
So the learners referred shall not be charged for assessment in these hospitals. Together with the Ministry of Health, we should continue to popularize the program in districts so that learners with hearing problems can be properly assessed and given the right redress for their needs.
And just the simple act of removing wax from somebody's ear can be a miraculous, life-changing situation for many children, because once that child is able to hear, now they are able to develop, they are able to learn, and all of a sudden one person affects an entire community.
Equipment that includes diagnostic audiometers, time panometry, and audio dynamics with accessories were handed over to the directors of 6 referral hospitals.
Based on the presence of an ENT surgeon, so the equipment definitely put in good use. The facilities are also teaching institutions, which means that it also provide teaching, and also, so they will be learning. So we have heard definitely there will be referral, and that's where many patients have.
I was excited when I saw the list of equipment. He has even equipment which can test for us those types of hearing impairments which are beyond repair or which are beyond, which are not correctable using the hearing aid. So,
the director of Moroto. Moroto, for you who have not visited Moroto, Moroto now is a very revamped hospital, and also we are constructing an ENT and eye facility in the hospital.
I'm Nafka Farida and Sana Anet reporting in Kampala.
And in the areas of innovation, the Director of Technopreneurship in the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, Basil Ajar, encouraged innovation that can create jobs for youth. He pledged support to innovators who have new models that they can develop into innovative skills.
In today's world, people have different innovation ideas to improve their skills, which Uptake Community Education Institute has nurtured students to have good ideas.
Mission is all about actually to improve the talents, the skills of our students. It is very important actually to have an exposure for someone to actually whatever he do, because ICT actually training, Uptake, we do it in a very different way, in a very practical approach.
The Director of Technopreneurship in the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, Basil Ajar, wants more innovation which can create jobs for youth.
In the urban areas, but slowly we are reaching out even to the rural areas. We don't need to forget about the indigenous knowledge, indigenous innovations that has been actually with us, but only poorly documented. So it cuts across, you look at everybody. It's a national program that will not say we are only targeting town-based people. Whoever has a concept which has been now proven to be a prototype is welcome to apply.
Government will also support innovators who have new models so that they can develop into concrete innovation skills.
We support researchers, it will support innovators, it will support entrepreneurs who are really coming with new models.
Innovation is the trend that will turn today's world into key to job creation for youth. Marina Mokosi compiled this report.
And that ends our first segment. We're going to take a short break, but News Tonight continues after that.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998 with a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda. We created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Now, amidst growing solar uptake levels in Uganda, a UK-based solar company, Nexus Green, is to set up solar power plants in various military barracks countrywide that will generate up to 516 megawatts. This is founded on the 25 years Memorandum of Understanding that was signed in 2017 by Nexus Green and Government of Uganda, represented by the President of Uganda.
The military barracks solar powering initiative has commenced at Kololo Airstrip, where they have...
The Uganda Security Exchange believes that through designing the listing rules and creation of incentives for private companies to go public can be an appropriate strategy to develop a stock market in Uganda.
Are active in the market but with different investment portfolios and goals, that will start seeing new activity in the market. But up until then, we will always see companies list, the institutions will buy them up and will sit. In the past 2-3 years, these businesses failed to move on due to, of course, corporate governance and then capital, the lack of capital.
We need government to do more in terms of improving the enabling environment for, first of all, mobilization of savings and also encouraging investment.
The body has limited capital assets on the market, which do not attract financial investors.
The money they collect, we don't have enough assets. So when we are encouraging companies to come on board, we have an institution that has capital that can actually invest it in credible and well-run businesses. Active investors, I think, Bob, you mentioned last time there were only 1,800 of the 35,000 investors are active. So you've got a very small pool of investors who are actually moving the market, but with very small flows. So that is the challenge we face.
The board organizes university challenges to impart the habit of saving and financial investment in young people.
So as we train you in this university challenge, the idea is that you also get into the market and take advantage of opportunities.
Akilinge Godfrey Dean School of Business at Makerere University applauds Uganda's Security Exchange for financial inclusion by engaging young people.
To save, and you must invest and make saving and investment as part of your life and manage your consumption patterns.
In 1997, Uganda went into full privatization, but due process was not followed to give the public a chance to participate, which laid shaky ground for stock market in the country. Abdul Nasir Luwama for UBC News.
Well, sorry about that. That wasn't the solar story. That was the story about the Uganda Securities Exchange, coming up with the third university challenge. Now, again, back to the solar story. Amidst growing solar uptake levels in Uganda, one of a solar company called Nexus, a UK-based company, it's called Nexus Green, is setting up some power plants. So let's get details on that story.
The military barracks solar powering initiative has commenced at Kololo Airstrip, where they have set up a 0.5 megawatt solar power plant to aid the facility's power needs.
It's the first hybrid solar project in Uganda, and it means, therefore, that you're now going to not have to depend on dirty diesel, which is very expensive, but also it is a dirty fuel. So Uganda will be leading the way in making sure that the renewable energy sector is at the heart of what Uganda's energy source is coming from. You're very lucky. You have a beautiful, perfectly positive array of sun.
The 25-year project is expected to produce 516 megawatts of power and is to be closely monitored by Uganda's Ministry of Defense.
Let me now express my gratitude to our Commander-in-Chief and President, His Excellency General Yoweri Museveni, for his vision when he decided to contact Nexus Green, personally contact Nexus Green, and explore the energy cost-saving measures of harnessing solar power.
The goal of the initiative is to mitigate the huge expenses in using hydroelectricity.
It will make a saving of roughly 120,000 US dollars per year, and it's a project for 25 years by the Ministry of Defense. So we are happy that the Ministry of Defense has looked at these cost-saving measures using green energy.
On the other hand, energy experts have cautioned the public to be particular on the solar panels they purchase on the Ugandan market.
So the reason why polycrystalline is on the market, because its manufacturing, it is cheap. So that's why it's more about the economy, the economics. So polycrystalline is still dominant on the market because it has a cheapest way of production, so that the PV panel is going to be cheap at the market. So monocrystallines, they have good performance or high efficiency, but the process is quite complicated to make these cells, hence making them expensive.
Solar electricity has become an alternative source of energy for power requirements. It is estimated that by the year 2025, the solar sector will share almost 40% of the total power grid in the country. Reporting for UBC, Wadulo Makanod in Kampala.
Now, many families in Uganda are beginning to cultivate small plots of land as the quickest way to end household poverty. UBC visited Chinawataka zone near Nambole Stadium, where Farouk and his father own a small piece of land, and that's where they grow their vegetables for sale.
Piece of land are becoming common as unemployment tightens grip on families.
Tuli gulupu tuwera abantu abawera amakumi asatu abatambuza ekibiina kyaffe kye tukolamu tukubaza buloka tulunda ebyennyanja tulima embogezo kwegamba tukola ebintu bingi nnyo naye tubulamuko omukono.
But here at Kenawataka near Nambole Stadium lives a family that grows vegetables for sale to residents.
Era buli kikopo ky'akakanyanya akaganda tukitunda 3,300. Tunayizina emboga tutandikira ku siringi 10, tukunyogerako ebikola ne tukuwa entule z'olukumi ne tukuwaako obutula ze tuba tukuwaddeko, naye ennyanya tutandikira mu kikopo. Abantu bajja era babugula ne babutwala ne babulya.
On this small plot of land, the family has established a vegetable garden made up of a diversity of vegetable species.
Ka project kola bya katonako nze tekanyamba era n'abale baagala obakolera ka project yako bakubira zibedde oteka mu fertilizer eyo biki buli kimu tuli wano.
Farouk's garden is strategically located by the roadside, which makes product marketing and access easier.
Nze ebintu byange abayise be babigula era kyova olaba mbirimira ku kkubo olw'okuba nti ayise n'emmotoka yalaba ekintu kubanga mba nakirimira emyezi mingi myaka mingi kikula kyemalirira akiraba bulabi n'akiyitako n'akikula.
So apart from ensuring a steady supply of body-building foods, backyard gardens like this help urban families live quality life. Alex Wandeva and Pathias Karikona reporting.
Check target. Dial star 1625. Get 100% on data and bonus. Win instantly with Mega Master Pay. Just recharge and hit your target.
Mega Master Pay from Airtel is back. And everyone, we mean everyone, gets a bonus. All you have to do, check your target, recharge, get 100% bonus on data and minutes. Dial star 162 hash today to know your target.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Mommy, you can't touch it. You can't touch it. Daddy, what's wrong?
I've had a long day, Angel, and I have a bad headache.
Oh, I'll give you something that will make you feel better if you promise to play with us.
Headache? Toothache. Unapoumwa, unataka kitulizo kwa haraka gani? Mara moja. Pain and Fever Reliever. A quality product from Beta Healthcare contains paracetamol, caffeine, and aspirin. Beta Healthcare. Caring for all. If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.
Measles and rubella outbreaks are still being reported in some districts in Uganda, putting the lives of our children at risk. In order to stop these outbreaks and maintain a polio-free Uganda, the Ministry of Health has planned a national measles, rubella and polio immunization campaign for all children under 15 years of age on 16th to 20th October 2019, starting 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All vaccines are safe, effective, and free. Parents and caretakers are hereby asked to take all children under 15 years of age for immunization at the nearest health facility or immunization post. Ministry of Health also calls upon everybody to report any child with a fever and generalized skin rash to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately. This could be measles or rubella. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from World Health Organization and UNICEF.
The Petroleum Authority of Uganda invites the general public for the public hearings for the Environmental and Social Impact Assessment Report for the proposed East African Crude Oil Pipeline EACOP project. The proposed EACOP project involves the development of a 1,443-kilometer heat-traced, insulated and buried pipeline from Hoima in Uganda to Tanga in Tanzania. In Uganda, the EACOP will run for 296 kilometers and traverse 10 districts of Hoima, Chikube, Kakumiro, Chankwanzi, Gomba, Mubende, Luengo, Sembabule, Chotera and Rakai. The public hearings will be held from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. as follows. Monday, 21st October 2019 at Chisita Primary School, Chisita A Village, Kakumiro District. Wednesday, 23rd October 2019 at Kasana Grounds, Chenda Trading Center, Mubende District. Friday, 25th October 2019 at Luanda Public Grounds, Luanda Village, Rakai District. Copies of the ESIA report are available at the offices and the websites of the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, the National Environment Management Authority, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, and the headquarters of all the affected districts. Any comments and views should be addressed to the presiding officer at the address below.
Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Kampala.
Excessive responsibility. Abazadde abateeka obuvunanyizibwa obungi ku baana. When you are too young, bw'obanga oli muto nnyo, when you are young, ng'oli muto, you are given too much responsibility. Baakuwa obuvunanyizibwa bungi nnyo. To take care of a whole lot of things. Obeere ng'okola ku bingi. To take care of your siblings. Nga gwakola ku baganda bo. To cook for the entire family. Gwafumbira amaka manene. To fetch water, fetch firewood. Gwakima amazzi n'otyaba enku. And take care of big people. N'ofa ku bakulu. At a very early age. Ng'okyali muto nnyo. So you are given too much responsibility. Baakuwa obuvunanyizibwa bungi nnyo. These things have a way of coming back to haunt us when you grow up. Some overcome them, others are unable to overcome them.
Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Kampala.
Now welcome to the sports desk. Uganda has been chosen to host the inaugural Kings of Africa Rugby Series that will feature in university teams from the continent. The tournament due this weekend at Makerere University is organized under the auspices of Association of Uganda University Sports.
Uganda will this weekend host the inaugural Kings of Rugby tournament that is expected to attract university sides from 4 African countries. The tournament will be preceded by the East Africa Training for National University Sports Federation Executives Workshop. This workshop starts on Friday on the theme Unupdated Sports Manager and will have delegates from Ethiopia, DR Congo, Rwanda and Burundi.
So the workshop will address best practice in governance, how we can improve our leadership potential, addressing the gender gap, because we realize the gender gap, not only in university sports, but in sports in general, is really big. We want to find all those solutions. And I'm sure it has come in timely as we promote university sports at different levels.
The Kings of Rugby tournament that Uganda will host over the first 4 editions will have teams from Kenya, South Africa, Botswana and hosts Uganda.
For the Kings of Rugby, it's an initiative from the Federation of African University Sports to ensure that as African countries we field good teams when it comes to World University Games. We experienced when we went to Namibia last year for the World Rugby Sevens, how some teams were unprepared. So we decided that we needed to first tussle it at home before we go on the world scene. And I'm sure it's going to give these teams competition.
Uganda will be represented by various institutions, including Uganda Christian University, Uganda Matters University, Makerere University Business School, and hosts Makerere University. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
And that brings us to the end of News Tonight at 8. Our next bulletin will come your way at 10 o'clock. My name is Patricia Lokoma. As we sign out, let us leave you with a weather forecast with Sempala Alex Kim.
It has been reduced rainfall activities across the country today because of the deep low that over the Indian Ocean that has influenced the kind of weather we've had today. I'm Sempa Alex Kim from the Weather Center with the weather forecast. Over the last 24 hours to 9 a.m. this morning, Arua reported 31.8 millimeters of rainfall, whereas Kampala reported 22.2 millimeters of rainfall. However, tomorrow morning we do expect most parts of the country to have chances of rainfall, apart from the southwestern, which will be majorly sunny intervals. Into the afternoon, we do expect a continuation of rainfall activities across the country, apart from the northeastern, where cloudy conditions will dominate. Temperatures are expected to range from 28 degrees Celsius in Kasese to 21 degrees Celsius in Kabale. And elsewhere across the globe, we are forecasting for Nairobi as well as Kigali and Tocho chances of rainfall, whereas Dubai is expected to be bright and sunny at 38 degrees Celsius. That concludes it for today. Stay tuned to UBC TV. I remain Sempa Alex Kim.
Brought to you by Better Cool works fast to relieve acidity, heartburn, and indigestion. Trust Better Cool. Enjoy life.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice.